Let's talk about that then, because obviously we know that, as you said, 18 years of age, and you did suffer some horrific abuse. Let's be honest about it. For those that haven't heard your story, just tell us how bad the abuse, the racial abuse got, and how difficult that moment in your life was.
Yeah, so I paint the story, signed in March, season kicks off in April, so 4 weeks pre-season. Maybe end of the first week, we have a pre-season game. Game kicks off, and as strikers do, you stand out on the far side, kick back, they do a diagonal ball.
Yeah.
I go and get over my chest, boom, start hearing monkey chants.
Straight away?
My first touch, monkey chants. So all the lead up, doing the warm up, nothing. So again, you just, I'm going to play this game. Oh, let me just go and score. That's how I was.
Yeah.
Monkey chants. But I kid you not, I was like, nah, man, that can't be right. Like, first time, so I'm 18, so of 18 years of my life, I've never heard any of this. So in my head, I'm like, nah, man, I refuse to believe that's monkey chants. So anyway, game goes on, a couple more minutes, I touch the ball again, monkey chants. So now I know this is monkey chants. So I'm thinking, what the hell? So literally, it's like, I'm not a small boy. And regardless of, you think you're tough because you was raised in London, but I was like, I'm not a small boy. So I was thinking, wait, the audacity. So I remember this is what's going, while the game's going on, like, for me, it's slowed down and this is what all I'm thinking. It's all split seconds, but this is what I'm thinking. When all of a sudden, I kid you not, if this was a film, it would have just gone slow motion. I would have been stood in the middle of the field just looking round. It starts chanting. So it starts going, zigga, 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 shoot the effing N-word. Zigga, 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 shoot. And I kid you not, I'm like, listen, on my life, I am now baffed. And then, and I'll always say, what gets it the most, right, is, say about 1,000 people is chanting this fans. 600 was the away team who was playing, because he was playing the away team. 400 were my own fans.
So your own fans and the away fans are chanting this?
There's a corner of where our fans...
And this is the first game as an 18-year-old in Lithuania.
So we get through to half-time, sit there, and so by this time I can't understand what the manager's saying. He's speaking tactics, I can't... So my club captain, he used to play in Poland. So he's the only one that can speak English. And the person I used to live with, he could speak English as well. But I asked him, I'm like, yo, big man, what does zigga mean? He's like, it means nothing. They just rhyme it with the N-word. So I remember just sitting there, he's talking. I'm thinking, wow. Anyway, we go out for the second half. Boom, 5 minutes start, chance end. Like, for me, I'm like, I'm not doing this. So I remember, so I get off, so I come off, and I remember massive cheer when I come off. So I walk off, and I remember I call my brother. So I asked to use somebody's mobile, I call my brother, and I goes to him. So it's my older brother. So I goes to him, I was like, yo, bro, I'm coming home. He's like, bro, why? I goes, nah, man, they're being racist. I remember this like it was yesterday. This is like 20 odd years ago. He goes to me, look, bro, I won't tell you to stay anywhere that you don't want to stay. But if you come home, they win. So I remember at that point, it didn't sink in. I was just like, whatever, like they've won, I'm going, whatever. So anyway, I go home, I sleep, and I remember I wake up the next morning, and I've said this numerous times, call it defiant intervention, call it, I don't know, ego, whatever. I just remember thinking, nobody is running me out of anywhere. And I remember from that point on, listen, I'm not saying it changed in regards to how they perceived, but I remember I went on there, I scored goals. We got to equivalent to the FA Cup, so it's the Lithuanian Cup. FK Atlantis hadn't won a cup in 11 years. Cup final. Yeah. We win 1-0. I scored the only goal.
Wow.
And it's funny because what I learned quickly is I was the first black person in the league.
Yeah.
One of a few black people in the city of Klaipėda where I stayed. And what happened there, so I was still getting racial abuse from the away fans, but my own fans, and this is why I talk about defining moments. My own fans started taking to me. I got a nickname called Zugali. I think Zugali means bugs, but a bunny in Lithuanian, and that's because my speech pattern, back in the day, I was like, yo, what's up, man? Hey, man, what's up? And Bugs Bunny used to always say, what's up, doc? So that became my own little, so in the newspaper.
So the home fans took to you after you started scoring goals, it changed towards.
And I remember learning at 18, I was like, rah, ignorance is bliss. And I was like, wow, these people are just scared of what they didn't know. They had never seen a black person before. And I, for myself, took pride on, wow, you know what? Regardless of what, don't know if I changed I don't know if I changed them fundamentally, but the football became bigger than them turning on their own player.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, yeah, you know, and it was the first time I've experienced celebrity. I remember I opened up an Adidas store. I remember cutting it with the ribbon. I was like, oh yeah. We met the mayor of Clypedo. I didn't pay. Cinema used to be my thing. I was like, I'd like watching films. I remember I didn't pay in cinema. I'd go to restaurants and I was like, oh snap. I can remember the beginning and the during and then that end of that season. I was like, and I remember learning at that point because I try and paint the picture. There weren't iPhones, there weren't FaceTime. Those older people would know how to talk. I had to go talk on MSN on the computer, you know, communicate.
Messenger,
Had to go get phone calls to call. So when I'm talking about I was isolated, it was a year, it was the time of being isolated. But what I learned and what I grew up, I remember when I came through that, I was like, honestly, when I came back to the UK, I was like, there's nothing now I won't be able to deal with. Nothing. Not saying anything would be, but anything that gets thrown my way, I came through that at 18. I'll be able to come through anything else that's thrown my way.
Was that a bit of a defining moment? I'm not going to say in your career, I'm going to say in your life, actually. The fact that you're drawing that picture there, 18 years of age. It sounds like, obviously, you don't speak the language, you don't know the culture, you don't know many people there, your family's not there with you, you're getting horrific racial abuse at the age of 18, and you don't even have the technology, like you said, to FaceTime or to do that. But you come through that, you score the winning goal. As you said there, does that feel like a real defining moment in terms of that advice your brother gave you was such good advice that you didn't let them win, and actually achieving that, did that make other things after that easier to achieve, if you know what I mean?
Massively. Like, I always say to people that I am what I do ain't me. So I put whatever it is, it doesn't matter if it's football, media, acting, I'm always going to be me. I'm always going to be authentic.
I can vouch for that.
You know?
You are uncategorically you all the time.
All the time. So I remember going, that was a defining moment in me as a person to be like, wow, man, be you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I didn't have all the answers there. I was still a kid. I look at it now and I asked my mum this. I was like, Mum, because I wouldn't let my daughter or my son, my daughter's 16. So in 2 years' time, if she told me she's going to New York to do drama, I'm like, hell no.
Really?
What?
Really?
Unless I'm going with her, even if my son.
Well, why though, out of interest?
Oh, when my daughter, I'm protective as hell. I won't even lie. But even my son, like, listen, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm more protective nowadays. I don't know.
Really?
Maybe we see more on social media.
I get you.
So maybe the world was always scary, but when you're young, you're finished. You didn't know about it. Whereas now, the world's scary. So maybe that's why. But I say that to Mum. I was like, Mum, I'm still a kid. Like, she's like, boy, like, not being funny. If she said no, I would have found a way. You know what I'm saying? And that's how obsessed I was with football. But that's what I said. It was a definitive moment in my life to be like, nah, man, like, do you, stand by you. And listen, I stand by this quote and I live by it. And I knew it back then, but it was synonymous in my life, is that don't do things to prove others wrong. You know what I'm saying? Do things to prove yourself right. So I weren't going in there. I mean, at the time I probably was, when my brother said they win. Don't go in there to prove them wrong. Don't go in there to say to them, look, I told you I can go play. Go prove yourself. Like, do you think you can? Yeah, I can. Go show it. So then in retrospect, you're proving them wrong, but you're putting the energy in yourself. And that's how, at a young age, I didn't know it at the time, but that was me. That was my DNA at the young age. So like I said, when I'd come through that, you know, you're just like raw, and then and look, my faith is everything to me. And you would ask God, wow, God, what did I do? Like, what did I do to, you know, what am I not good or am I a bad person? You ask God, like, why? And I say that now, that sometimes for me, when you are going through your darkest times, it does set you up for future endeavors. So when you come through, when actually then you get and see the light, you're then within the light, and that's what. When I went through Lithuania, it was like, yo, that was dark for me at 18. But then learning the tools to be able to then navigate, because I couldn't foresee, and this is not even me kidding you, I couldn't foresee how life turned out for me. But the tools I learned at 18 allowed me now to navigate the journey that I've gone through thus far.
Yeah, it's powerful, that, really powerful, I have to say.